Good evening and many thanks for joining us. You're watching QTV Nightly News, coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue with me, Ansmana Isonyase. First, here are the main news headlines. In a significant step towards national reconciliation and justice, Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dauda A. Jallow has announced that the newly formed Victims Reparations Commission will soon begin developing a comprehensive victims database alongside establishing clear and transparent criteria for financial compensation. In this week's court case roundup, we cover the ongoing trial of Usainu Bojang in the PIU shooting case, a landmark Supreme Court ruling in the KMC power dispute, and a challenge to the country's anti-FGM legislation. And the Gambia Immigration Department has launched a nationwide sensitization tour focused on the decentralization of biometric passport issuance. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, in partnership with Conservation International, has launched the Paris Agreement Global Environment Facility GEF project. And students of the University of Education, formerly known as the Gambia College, organized a day-long music seminar dedicated to celebrating cultural heritage and traditions through the performing arts. Stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. And now here's the news in detail. Now, in a major step towards national healing and justice, Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dauda A. Jallow has announced that the newly established Victims Reparations Commission will soon begin the process of creating a comprehensive victims database. The commission will also establish clear and transparent criteria for financial compensation. Usman Jatta reports.
For over 2 decades, countless Gambians endured some of the gravest human rights abuses under former President Yahya Jammeh's regime. Allegations of torture, unlawful detention, and forced disappearances have left deep scars on survivors, families, and the nation as a whole. With the official launch and swearing in of Victims Reparations Commissioners, there is a renewed sense of hope and commitment to justice. The announcement by Attorney General Dauda A. Jallow to establish a victims database and implement transparent guidelines for financial compensation marks a pivotal step in the Gambia's journey towards healing, accountability, and national reconciliation. It signals the government's recognition of the pain endured by survivors and its commitment to delivering justice for those who suffered serious human rights violations.
The Victims Commission will create a victims database, and they will come up with a criteria of financial compensation. So based on the number that they are going to have on their database, times the quantum of compensation they will allocate to each of them, that will determine the budget. So we wouldn't know their financial requirement. At this stage, we will allow them to go to work, and then once that determines how much money they need, then the monies will now be provided. We are giving them 5-year mandate under the legislation, hoping that they will be able to discharge their mandate within 5 years. If they don't finish, the legislation provides for extension.
For years, civil society organizations have been at the forefront of efforts to preserve the voices and memories of victims. Among them is the African Network Against Extrajudicial Killings and Enforced Disappearances, ANICET, an independent, non-political and non-religious human rights organization led by African women activists. Sirandau, country director of ANICET, welcomed the government's initiatives as a positive step towards justice for victims, but stressed the need for urgency and transparency in the Commission's operations.
Their impatience is really understandable. These are people who have been suffering, who are suffering. And today, because the commission has been implemented, it's not going to mean that their suffering is going to stop. Their needs are still there. So their impatience is really understandable. But of course, things need to be in place. It needs to be in a structured way that they don't have to rubber. We don't want a rubber business that you go here and there. We want a structured way that gives them dignity within the process, that they are afforded their right in a dignified way. That will take some time. So of course, we are trying to work with them on setting that expectation.
Having campaigned tirelessly for years against enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings, Sirandau reaffirmed ANICET's unwavering commitment to standing with victims and their families.
Previously, the commitment to to give the sales of Jammeh's asset from the US. $2.5 million has been committed to the fund, and the president just made a commitment to support annually. But these are commitments that are not reality yet. So in the meantime, civil society is committed to continuing the support to make sure that those urgent needs are being taken care of, and working with the victims to make sure that they're also an integral part of the process.
As the Victims' Reparations Commission moves forward with its work, it brings renewed hope for those who have long awaited recognition and accountability. This initiative represents a pivotal part of the nation's commitment to healing and rebuilding, one step at a time. Osman Jata, QTV News.
Now, in this week's court case roundup, we highlight the ongoing trial of Usainu Bojang in the PIU shooting case, a landmark Supreme Court decision in the Kanifing Municipal Council power dispute, and a challenge to the country's FGM legislation. Here is Usman Jata again for the details.
At the High Court in Banjul, Usainu Bojang, who is accused of fatally shooting 3 paramilitary officers in September 2023, adamantly denied any connection to the pistol allegedly used in the crime. During a tense cross-examination by the Director of Public Prosecutions, A.M. Yusuf, Bojang rejected claims that the weapon presented in court belonged to him. His lawyer, Lamin J. Dabo, objected to the handling of the firearm without gloves, raising concerns about the potential manipulation of fingerprints at the appellate stage. Justice Ibrahima Jaite allowed Bojang to inspect the pistol, which was placed on a white A4 sheet. However, Bojang maintained his innocence, asserting, "I have never used a gun," and distancing himself from any experience with firearms or military training. Though he admitted to working as a security guard, he stated that guards are not armed. DPP Yusuf also questioned Bojang regarding witness testimony, particularly that of Marabu Mama Jabi, who claimed to have recorded a conversation with the accused. Bojang dismissed her account as false, citing the lack of any audio evidence. He went on to label all state witnesses as dishonest, except for a motorcyclist who, he admitted, assisted him in fleeing to Casamas. Meanwhile, at the Supreme Court, a significant ruling was delivered in the dispute between the Kanifing Municipal Council KMC and the central authorities. Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallo, leading a 5-member panel, declared that the reinstatement of former KMC CEO Senator Martin Sonko was unlawful. The court ruled that both the Minister of Lands and the Inspector General of Police had overstepped their legal authority by attempting to override the decision of elected Mayor Talib Ahmed Bensouda. Justice C.S. Jallo emphasized that local government autonomy is constitutionally protected under Section 193 of the 1997 Constitution. He condemned the use of administrative pressure and police intervention, noting that such actions undermine the independence of municipal councils. The ruling affirmed that matters of local government should be resolved internally unless otherwise dictated by law. In another major legal case, lawyer Lamin J. Dabo appeared at the Supreme Court representing Fonyi lawmaker Almame Jiba and several other groups challenging the Gambia's anti-FGM law. Dabo argued that the Supreme Court has the jurisdiction to interpret constitutional provisions, including those related to the 2015 Women's Amendment Act, which criminalizes female genital mutilation. State Counsel A.A. Wakawa contended that the issue at hand involved fundamental human rights and thus fell outside the court's jurisdiction. However, the court sided with Dabo, granting his request to amend the case and proceed with a full hearing. That's the latest from the courts. All reports were originally compiled by Nicholas Pass of The Voice newspaper and summarized by QTV. Osman Jata, QTV News.
Now, the Gambia Immigration Department has launched a nationwide sensitization tour focused on the decentralization of biometric passport issuance. As part of the initiative, the team visited the Lower River region to engage local authorities on the upcoming expansion program. Our regional correspondent, Bakari Balde, filed this report.
This engagement aims to inform local authorities about the government's plan to expand biometric passport enrollment to regional areas, reducing the burden on citizens who previously had to travel to urban centers and endured long queues to obtain the document. Authorities in the Lower River region welcomed the initiative and praised the government for bringing these essential services directly to the doorsteps of the people. Fode Gassama, the Commissioner of Processing at the Gambia Immigration Department, outlined the strategies and methods that have been put in place for the implementation for the biometric passport decentralization program.
Now the methodology is that we are beginning with mobile enrollment services. We will be dispatching mobile teams that will come to these regions on quarterly basis. And we hope that before they come, applicants in these various regions will effect their payments at various eco banks, the bank that is contracted to do this, get their application forms, fill it, and attach all their necessary documents and submit it.
Keba Toure, country manager of Africa Gambia Limited, highlighted the role of his institution in the biometric passport enrollment process.
Our role, according to the agreement, is to provide the support to the immigration department, who are responsible for the application and enrollment component. Our role is to design and to produce the passport, and also to provide all the necessary equipment.
Momodu Lamin Kamara, Deputy Governor of Lower River Region, emphasized the significant impact of the decentralization.
As we all know, people from here and from all over the country go to Banjul. All people go down. When you go to Banjul, you find a long queue. Some people are there for days without even having a passport. Having this order to bring it to our doorstep, I think is one of the best ideas. Our people also can have it in their own with no stress, with nothing.
Musa Keita, the Regional Immigration Commissioner for the Lower River Region, shared an important message for both the public and immigration officers.
I would urge everybody to understand, passports, there is no other fee to be paid to immigrations when you come. It is very clear. So when this fee is paid at the bank, you come with the receipt, our services is to do the processing on your behalf. So I would urge each and every officer of my unit or the department that we have to be very much honest and serve with dedication. So we should not try to be extorting money from people in connection of this, as we are always been alleged of. So we have to be very much careful into it. And we wouldn't mind to sensitize people to know their rights about the way the passports are processed.
The GID Commissioner of Processing explained that an assessment had been conducted and well-trained officers would be deployed to various regions to begin processing by next month. Bakari Balde, QTV News.
Well, we're taking a brief commercial break, but when we return, we hear about a music seminar focused on celebrating cultural heritage through the performing arts, as well as the donation of 20 laptops aimed at enhancing STEM education in schools in the Lower River region.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taam place bii bépp xeetu ataaye bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal bara ataaye bii ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bii ataaye bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaye bu neex rek lay wër bara wërga bii mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
Oryx, with you all the way.
Powered by Africa, Oryx Energies.
Welcome back. Be reminded you're watching QTV Nightly News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue with me, Ansmana Isonyase. Now, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, in collaboration with Conservation International, launched the Global Environment Facility GEF project titled Strengthening the Capacity of Institutions in the Gambia to Meet Transparency Requirements of the Paris Agreement on Wednesday. Murgajaga attended and he now reports.
Stakeholders from the climate change sector, government agencies involved in climate action, and officials of Conservation International convened to explore strategies for the successful implementation of the project titled Strengthening the Capacity of Institutions in the Gambia to Meet Transparency Requirements of the Paris Agreement. Mariaman Jaju is the director of the Central Project Coordinating Unit at the Ministry of Environment.
This gathering is not merely an event. It marks a significant milestone in the Gambia's ongoing journey towards strengthening climate governance, enhancing transparency and ensuring accountability in climate action. As a signatory to the Paris Agreement, the Gambia is committed to meeting its international obligation under the Enhanced Transparency Framework, ETF. The CBIT project responds directly to this mandate, aimed to build robust systems and institutional capacities to monitor, report, and verify climate-related data. It is within this context that this statement sets the stage for the successful implementation of the CBIT project.
The project aims to advance the Gambia's efforts in reducing greenhouse gas emissions by strengthening data collection, monitoring, verification, and reporting systems. It also includes support for climate adaptation and resilience mechanisms to address the impacts of climate change. Lamin S. Jame, Director of the National Climate Change Secretariat at the Ministry of Environment, outlined key areas of support under the initiative.
CBIT projects aims to achieve the following objectives. 1. Strengthening institutional and technical capacity for transparency. 2. Enhance data quality and reliability for tracking NDC progress. 3. Promote accountability and trust in global climate action.
Conservation International, a climate-focused NGO advocating for the protection of the food we eat, the water we drink, and the air we breathe, has been supporting the Gambia in strengthening its capacity to mitigate and adapt to climate challenges. Victor Isendi serves as the Regional Technical Director for Conservation International.
We, as an accredited or implementing agency of the GEF, we're grateful to the government of the Gambia for trusting Conservation International to undertake to be the implementing agency on this, and really it's government support that we really count on this, and we in turn give our commitment that Conservation International will be a partner with you.
The launch marks a significant step forward in the Gambia's commitment to climate transparency and resilience, reinforcing the nation's dedication to fulfilling its obligation under the Paris Agreement. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Now, students of the University of Education, formerly known as the Gambia College, organized a day-long music seminar dedicated to celebrating cultural heritage and traditions through the performing arts. This year's theme, Joy in Music Makes Learning Easier, highlights the connection between music, education, and cultural expression. Mamudu Gajaga again.
As the saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. In a fitting demonstration of this, students brought the campus to life with vibrant musical performances, cultural displays, and the power of spoken word. Under the theme, Joy in Music Makes Learning Easier, the event was a joyful celebration of earth and education. The highlight of the day came as students welcomed their principal, Abubakar Jallo, with energetic drumming, singing, and dancing. In his address, Principal Jallo emphasized the significant role the University of Education, formerly the Gambia College, continues to play in national development.
This great institution, called the Gambia College, has been responsible for the formation of the teachers, the nurses, the public health practitioners, and the agricultural extension workers of this country.
Various musical, cultural, and creative art groups took to the stage to showcase their talents and promote cultural heritage through music. Among the standout performers was Group Tama, who introduced the audience to the traditional Tama drum, an iconic instrument rooted in the musical traditions of the Seral and the Wolof tribes. Amadou B. Jobate, a music lecturer and one of the main coordinators of the seminar, emphasized how teachers can incorporate spoken word in musical formats to enhance student engagement, make learning more accessible and enjoyable.
Whenever children go to school, or a child that has just been registered in school for the first day, when you tell that child A, B, C, D, E, F, G, just the first day in school, he or she will capture the 7 or the 8 letters alphabets of ABC. But imagine you sit a child and start sounding every letter sound, A, B, C. They can't remember it within a day, not even 1 month. So that shows that joy in music makes learning easier.
Studies have consistently shown that music can be a powerful motivator. It can boost mood, promotes relaxation, and even enhances focus. Mariama Jawara and Omar W. Job, both students studying music as part of their course at the University of Education, shared their personal experiences and how music positively impacts their learning.
Some people, it is very difficult for them to memorize or understand something. But if you put it in a music form, some people understand it easily.
Through this seminar, I learned a lot of songs in different language. Though I can't speak language like Plari, Jago, and so on. But when we come to music, I can sing a certain song in their language.
Through their vibrant performances, the students, many of whom are featured teachers, demonstrated how music can be effectively used as a tool to make learning more engaging and enjoyable in the classroom. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
Quite an interesting piece there. Now, in a move to support digital learning and improve access to technology in schools, 5 senior secondary schools in the Lower River region have each received laptop computers. The donation, totaling 20 laptops, aims to enhance STEM education and promote ICT integration in classrooms. Bakari Balde attended the handing over ceremony and he filed this report.
The laptops were handed over on Thursday by the Regional Education Directorate in Mansa Congo in partnership with the UK JAR Association. The beneficiary schools include Pakaliba Senior, Buren Senior, Japine Senior, Tonya Taba Technical, and Misra Upper and Senior Secondary Schools. Sidi Lamid Ba, the governor of Lower River Region, expressed gratitude to the government of the Gambia for creating an enabling environment and praised the UK JAR Association for their continued commitment to their home community despite being miles away.
I want to thank the UK JARA Association in particular for understanding this fact that country first before whatever or wherever you are. Yes, we may be in the UK, you've received education in the UK, but you're also contributing to the development of the UK by paying taxes in the UK. Now you call yourself whatever, maybe UK JARA, yes, you are citizen, you are residing in the UK, but home will always be home. And I appreciate the fact that they've not forgotten home. So they are contributing to the development of this country, the Gambia.
Momodi G. Jallo, the Regional Education Director in Mansa Congo, stated that the initiative aligns with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education's goals and aspirations.
The presentation is very much in line with the desires of the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. Of recent, the ministry presented schools laptops, and the project is called Every School One Laptop. So giving schools laptop would enhance the digitalization of school administration and make office work paperless.
Ansumana Kinte, coordinator of the UK Jar Association, emphasized that the association's primary goal is to ensure every child in Jara has access to quality education, enabling them to make meaningful contributions to society. He further explained that the laptops are intended to enhance digital learning in today's technology-driven world.
The true value of this donation lies in its proper utilization. These laptops must not sit unused in cupboards. They must be in the classrooms, in the hands of teachers and students, and they fully integrated into the academic and administrative processes.
Speakers including Alhaji Yaya Jajusi, Chief of Jara West, and Wasabo Dabo from Brain Village thanked the UK Jara Association for their support and assured the laptops would be well utilized. The event was attended by government officials, school principals, and members of the school management and village development committees. Bakari Balde, QTV News.
And from that report there by Bakari Balde, I'm afraid this is where we draw the curtains on this bulletin. But before we take a leave of you, here's a recap of our main headlines. In a significant step towards national reconciliation and justice, Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dauda A. Jallow has announced that the newly formed Victims Reparations Commission will soon begin developing a comprehensive victims database alongside establishing clear and transparent criteria for financial compensation. In this week's court case roundup, we covered the ongoing trial of Ousseynou Bojang in the PIU shooting case, a landmark Supreme Court ruling in the KMC power dispute, and a challenge to the country's anti-FGM legislation. The Gambia Immigration Department has launched a nationwide sensitization tour focused on the decentralization of the biometric passport issuance. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, in partnership with Conservation International, has launched the Paris Agreement Global Environment Facility GEFT project. And students of the University of Education, formerly known as the Gambia College, organized a day-long music seminar dedicated to celebrating cultural heritage and traditions through the performing arts. That's all for tonight. Do join us tomorrow, same time for more news. Until then, on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching.